The Kansas City Chiefs are now just hours away from appearing in their 7th consecutive AFC Championship game, and they will be hosting this one at Arrowhead Stadium once again. And guys, for all of the reasons that there are to watch, for everything that we have to be appreciative of here in Kansas City with this quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, and this head coach, Andy Reid, and you can throw in any number of these other players and assistant coaches, whatever you want to throw in there, of course. But there are a few things that will be the game within the game that might not be maybe the most strategic things to watch, that might not be the most important things to pay attention to, but guys, they may be the most entertaining aspects of this game, and one of them starts right here. We have to watch how Xavier Worthy and Jaden Hicks play in this game. Why? Well, in a video just a couple days ago, I knew, obviously, that Xavier Worthy was acquired with a draft pick traded for by the Buffalo Bills. We traded up with the Buffalo Bills, took Xavier Worthy, but, draft night, all sorts of things happen, and it's difficult to really keep track of everything going on. I had forgotten Jaden Hicks was also acquired with one of the picks from the Buffalo Bills. Roughly translating to the pick with the Xavier Worthy, there was Keon Coleman for the Buffalo Bills. I maintain that Keon Coleman, in my opinion, will be one of the better wide receivers to be taken out of this draft. It is a shame he has to play for Buffalo. But Xavier Worthy on the season has 59 receptions, 638 yards, and 6 receiving touchdowns. But that's not all, guys. He added 104 yards on 20 carries, adding 3 touchdowns as well. And I think we're going to see him with some rushing attempts in this game as well. I think also that the last time the Chiefs and the Bills played, we saw the emergence of Xavier Worthy in the first quarter, and then he disappeared after failing to maintain his status as an eligible receiver during a down-the-field pass from Patrick Mahomes. I think we're going to see a heavy dose of Xavier Worthy in this game, and it will perhaps be an irony that is simply too much for Bills fans if the Chiefs win, and Xavier Worthy is one of their saving graces. Jaden Hicks, not the most consequential rookie season, though somehow he has more interceptions, 3, than starts, 1. He played a decent number of snaps on the season, but ended up also having 5 pass deflections and 29 tackles. However, I think we would all agree that does not do justice to who it is that Jaden Hicks is quickly proving himself to be. Jaden Hicks looks to be a consequential player for the Chiefs moving forward, looks to be a high-impact safety, looks to be a defensive star in the making. And guys, if that is the case, this defense has, look, Justin Reid has been solid. I don't mean to say that he has not been. Tyrann Mathieu, I think, was underwhelming during his time with the Kansas City Chiefs, despite what votes he got for what awards, etc. I think that he was kind of just out there playing hero ball. And Jaden Hicks has the distinct possibility to be a superstar safety for the Kansas City Chiefs that will make a very large difference in the passing game when you're setting him up with Trent McDuffie. So I think that is one of the small things that we can go into this game and watch. That pair of rookies that the Kansas City Chiefs essentially got from the Buffalo Bills. Now, there is also the unfathomable greatness of Patrick Mahomes. let's see here. This is all-time postseason wins. Patrick Mahomes, should he win the AFC Championship game, will ascend to second place exclusively. Right now, he is tied with 16 postseason wins for number 2 all-time with Joe Montana. Now, this listing takes into account losses as well, so that's why you see Joe Montana listed as third. I don't know how necessarily fair that is. I'm not a purist when it comes to these types of arguments, but 16 wins and 3 losses for Patrick Mahomes. You will notice there that Joe Montana, with whom he is currently tied, had 7 losses by the time he got to that 16th win. So, well, actually, I don't know. I assume that his last playoff game was a loss. I don't have to assume, I guess. I knew that. Anyway, moving forward. Mahomes is currently tied for second overall with Joe Montana with 16 wins. Tom Brady obviously is number 1 with 35 wins. 35-13 in the postseason, having played 48 postseason games is insane. Right now, though, you can see Patrick Mahomes has already played more than an entire season's worth of postseason games. When you look at that, 16-3, Patrick Mahomes has an .842 postseason winning percentage. Most quarterbacks don't win over 800 in a season in their entire careers. Okay, the fact that Patrick Mahomes has .842 through more than a season of postseason play is phenomenal. The next closest active player is Aaron Rodgers with 11 wins. He also has 10 losses. After that is elite Joe Flacco, 10 wins and 6 losses. This is an insane thing to look at. If you've never seen this list before, it's on Wikipedia. You can find it. And just looking at the fact that Patrick Mahomes has 2 more postseason wins than Peyton Manning through his entire career, 3 more than Brett Favre during his entire career, 5 more than this guy named Troy Aikman. I'm assuming the cross is because his career has passed away, but not going to make any more jokes of that ilk. So if the number 2 thing to watch here is the unfathomable greatness of Patrick Mahomes, the number 3 thing to keep tabs on is the infuriating goodness of Josh Allen. These are Josh Allen's seasons in the NFL. Now, Josh Allen, the last time these two teams played was 27 of 40 for 262 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He added 12 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown, but it was a big run for a touchdown late in that game that really ended the Chiefs' evening. Since that game, the Kansas City Chiefs are +1 Charles Omenihu. I don't believe he played in that game. I'll have to go back and look. But if they're not +1 Charles Omenihu, they are +1 Jalen Watson. Jalen Watson is a legitimate number 2 cornerback in the NFL, something that the Kansas City Chiefs did not have the last time these two teams played. But I wanted to take things a little bit further and look at something. So look at another comparison that would help to see what it is that we might expect on Championship Sunday. So the Chiefs played C.J. Stroud and then played C.J. Stroud again in the playoffs. Played C.J. Stroud without some defensive playmakers, without Jalen Watson. Played C.J. Stroud again in the divisional round of the playoffs. So what did that look like? The first time that the Chiefs played C.J. Stroud in the regular season, he had 244 passing yards. The second time they played him in the playoffs, he had 245 yards. Okay, well, 1 more yard. The first time the two teams played, he had 23 completions. The second time, he had just 19 completions, 4 fewer completions. That sounds inconsequential. That's completing 1 fewer pass per quarter. That adds up. The first time they played, the Chiefs intercepted C.J. Stroud twice. The second time, they didn't pick him off at all. But that's not the big deal. The big deal between these two meetings of those teams, the first time the Chiefs met the Texans, C.J. Stroud threw 2 touchdowns. The second time, he threw 0. So, the bend but don't break philosophy to this defense is more intact when the Chiefs have both Omenihu and Jalen Watson, on the field. So, this invariable goodness, I can't say greatness, though I think he is on track to maybe be a Hall of Famer because of just sort of the accumulation of stats. He has no real outstanding seasons. And this year, he's the MVP. He's the MVP. Everybody wants to make him out to be the MVP. 3,731 passing yards, 28 touchdowns. I mean, you want to give the guy the MVP, okay, but I think that you are missing some things there in that argument as well. But the fourth big thing to watch here is this: DeAndre Hopkins on the big stage. DeAndre Hopkins is 3-4 in his career in the postseason. Yes, in just seven appearances in the postseason, he has more losses than Patrick Mahomes in 19 appearances. D-Hop has played just 7 postseason games in 12 seasons. We need to take a moment to just be thankful for what we have here. A lot of us have struggled through the lean times, but that does not mean that we have the harvest in proper perspective. In his entire postseason run, look, DeAndre Hopkins is a guy who has 12,965 career receiving yards, 83 career touchdowns. All of this on 1,585 targets and nearly 1,000 receptions. In the postseason, he has just 37 receptions. In the postseason, if you were to wager how many touchdowns this man has through 7 games, through 12 seasons in the NFL, what would you say? If you were to guess how many postseason touchdowns Nuke has, what would you guess? I can tell you 1. 1 postseason touchdown through all of these seasons. I do not say this to mock DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, I have great respect for DeAndre Hopkins. I say this because this is a chance for Nuke Hopkins to get that Super Bowl. This is the first time DeAndre Hopkins has ever appeared in the championship round of the playoffs. So, when you think about this, we talk about guys like Xavier Worthy. He's a rookie. He's here for the first time. So is Nuke Hopkins. Nuke Hopkins has played a whole lot more NFL football. He has not played this late in the year. So he is a rookie in this as well. And it would be great to see him get a ring. Getting a ring, by the way, might be... So I think right now, without looking at the actual statistics for players in the Hall of Fame, I think right now, Nuke Hopkins is a borderline Hall of Famer. I do not think he gets in on the first vote. This might be a third, fourth ballot type of guy. If he gets a ring, I think that changes. If he gets a ring, I think that pushes him. I still don't think he's a first rounder, just because I don't think that he was dominant for the type of run that a first ballot Hall of Famer has to be. But I do think he gets in, and I don't think it is quite so difficult for him. Now, the final thing that I have listed here: can Kareem complete the dream? Kareem Hunt started his career in Kansas City with 1,327 rushing yards as a rookie. He ended up with a whole lot of receiving yards too. I just didn't have the space to clip that in here as I'm throwing my pen. And a whole lot of touchdowns. Look, guys, he hasn't. So since 2020, he has 5 starts in 2020, 1 start in 21, 0 starts in 22, 2 starts in 23, and 8 starts this season. He has 47 touchdowns, just rushing. He has added quite a few receiving touchdowns over that time as well, but he has 47 touchdowns is not light work in the NFL. For a guy who had everything in front of him as a rookie, everything in front of him well into his second year in the league, and as he said himself, he lost it all. The comeback story for Kareem Hunt would be a special one, and it would be a special one for the Kansas City Chiefs and Chiefs fandom in general. These are 5 things worth watching in this AFC Championship game as the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Buffalo Bills. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.